All right, we're going to try not to embarrass Johnson.
All right, we are live right now on Facebook. Hello, Facebook world. Everybody just awkwardly wave to the camera.
Hello, Facebook.
Hello, Facebook.
Joe and Joel, creators of The Americans, the brains behind the operation, the entire operation here. Welcome, you guys.
Nice to be here.
So everybody on Facebook right now, if you have questions for these guys, I know fans of The Americans probably have a million questions every week as they're watching the show. So feel free to write them down in the comments section. They will go right to this handy tablet I have, and we will try to get in some fan questions throughout the course of the interview.
From us in 1983.
Exactly.
Facebook
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
2016.
Right. I know. This is what we're doing now. This is the future. It's all happening right now. Congrats on all the Emmy love. A lot of buzz going around. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
How does that kind of change things moving forward now that there's been so much love and recognition for the show? Does that kind of change your roles, or is it just kind of
more anxiety?
Yeah. Just kind of like
anxious,
we had to set the bar super high. Now we got to just keep rolling. How do you guys celebrate these Emmy nominations that you guys get? I mean.
We spent most of that day on the telephone,
Yeah.
talking to people about how surprised we were, and I
Joe-
think that's what
Come on.
counted as a celebration.
Joe's the first thing I did, of course, was call Joe because we were in different places, and Joe's wife took a picture of him on the phone with me, which I believe she posted to Facebook, and it's a picture of him on the phone with me going like this.
It was a major shock. You
Yeah.
know, we did not get nominated for 3 years. We got very used to the idea of not being nominated, so it was a little hard to believe it, a little hard to get over.
Yeah,
But we're like, for the Facebook generation, we're like kind of older guys.
No.
We don't really go out and drink like 10 beers. That's not
You drink 9 and then you call it a night. Well,
I maybe had a sandwich. Did you have a sandwich?
I got a hug from my daughter.
Yeah.
That was nice. Yeah.
I celebrate things with a sandwich most of the time, so that's that's what
Sandwich
we
party.
do. That's
Sandwich party.
exactly.
Yeah.
We don't need beer to have a good time. What do we have planned for season 5?
Well, we know exactly. We've written about half the season, got all the stories ready. So there are a lot of very intense and interesting things that are going to happen. If you watch the show, you like the stories. Paige and her mom. That's all that is going to hit a real boil. What else would you say are the highlights coming?
Well, Stan's got an interesting new relationship coming up, and that's going to play out in kind of an unexpected way. And Frank Langella is going to be back as Gabriel. Margot Martindale will be back as Claudia. We have some interesting new cast coming. And I think a lot of things that were set in motion in that first season are going to be coming to a head in season 5 and getting ready to propel us into the final season 6.
Final 2 seasons now. How far in advance do you guys kind of figure this out? I mean, do you have the final 2 kind of in your head? Have you guys been kind of wrestling with that, or is this kind of you kind of just go with the flow here?
We go way in advance.
Yeah.
Largely because, as Joel said, we're sort of anxious people, so
Yeah.
we can't relax
10
until
steps
basically
ahead all the time.
whole
Yeah.
show is figured out. Like, we're in our summer break right now. We knew we would not have fun
Yeah.
unless we were basically done with season 5. So we know pretty much everything that's
The
going to happen.
anxious mind just keeps
Yeah.
going.
Yeah.
All
And
the
It's
time.
good
also-
for productivity.
Yeah.
And realistically, we do a lot of rewriting as we write.
Right.
So if we didn't have
It's a process,
a lot
right?
of
I mean-
scripts, we couldn't go back and neurotically revise them all.
Just constantly neurotic, but that's what gets to be great, right? That's what greatness is. We have a fan question from Lisa House. Will we see more of Martha? Season 5.
Oh, we're probably not going to answer all the fan questions. We're sorry, Lisa. Lisa, that's a good question.
It's a very good question.
Lisa, we appreciate you. They can't give it all away
Hashtag
right now.
spoiler. Well, we can say that Martha is still alive.
Okay,
And
that's
so
good.
if
Last time we
somebody's-
saw her, she was alive.
yeah,
she
she
got
was
on the
getting on a
plane.
plane.
Somebody said to us that plane looked a little rickety.
Yeah.
So we don't think that plane crashed.
But we
Okay.
did research that what plane would have flown to Florida, and that was the plane. We got
Yeah.
the actual plane.
I think didn't we say it made it to Cuba? We at least know it got
Yes,
to
we
Cuba.
know it got to Cuba.
Yeah.
And she was
Cuba.
getting ready.
We're
Yeah,
okay.
Gabriel gave a
Yeah.
good report.
Do you guys find a lot of challenges in doing kind of a period piece like this?
I'll tell you, we know what the biggest challenge is: the cars.
Ah,
You know, if you do a show set in the 1920s,
Yeah.
they're great cars and they've been kept by collectors
yeah.
and they
They're all
run
mint
great.
condition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you do a show set in the early 80s and you've got cars from the late 70s and the early 80s, essentially they're all junkers.
None of them pass smog. They're
And-
terrible for the environment.
And basically, when the director says action, that's the cue for the engine to die.
yeah.
The other challenge is we have to constantly think back to when we were in high school.
Yeah.
Because that's where if you want to think about what objects you want to use or what things were going on culturally, that's a prime time for us. So we spend a fair amount of time remembering our teenage years, which is not always pleasant or pretty.
No, it was pretty funny though when we had to figure out what magazines were going to be in Henry's little private stash, and there was a lot of reminiscing.
Yeah.
There was a lot of reminiscing.
What was under the bed? Do you guys have any dream guest stars that you would love to have on The Americans? Whether or not it's practical or not, I mean, is there anybody that's kind of popped into your head maybe as the seasons have kind of gone on?
I'm trying to think. We were didn't we have a long talk this summer about Jacqueline Bisset?
That'd be great.
But we were sort of thinking, is there a part for Jacqueline Bisset? Again, you go back into your teenage years and think who was hot
then,
in
right?
the 1980s.
Exactly.
Oh, we had a nice Twitter exchange with Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell.
Yeah,
That would have been
That
good.
was pretty good.
That would be.
That's
great.
a hot couple right now.
Yeah, but it's funny. The question triggers for me is some of the incredible guest stars that we had last season. I mean, think about what Ruthie Ann Miles and Rob Yang brought to the show, and what Dylan Baker brought to the show was just, we were so lucky.
Well, we're going to do a little lightning round in who would win in a spy showdown. You guys ready to get your spy hats on right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Elizabeth and Philip versus James Bond. Who would win in a spy showdown between them?
Like who would kill who?
Yeah,
Well,
who
I
would
think
win?
to me, that's easy. Philip and Elizabeth would win because James Bond is a fictional character, whereas Philip and Elizabeth are real.
Did he just drop the mic? Did he just drop that? Okay, boom. What about, well, I guess this would go the same versus Inspector Gadget. He's not a real person either, is he? Inspector Gadget? No one knows.
I don't even know who Inspector Gadget is, so I'm going to go with Philip and Elizabeth.
Okay, what about Jason Bourne? Ooh.
Oh, that's a tough one. I might have to go with Bourne.
Yeah,
He's
I
pretty-
mean, he's out right
kicks
now
some
in a
butt.
movie
I
right
know,
now.
I know.
He could leap off that poster. Yeah.
Okay, here's a good one. Elizabeth and Philip or Carrie and Matthew?
Oh,
How about that?
Oh,
How about
think
that?
Gary and Matthew would they would tear Philip and Elizabeth apart with their jokes. They would just charm them. They would charm Philip and
them.
Elizabeth.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
actually, I think the only two people who could charm
Exactly.
Philip and Elizabeth out of a job
Yeah.
is Carrie and Matthew.
There you go, the ultimate spy on spy. That'll be for season 8 way down the line. If you could do another show in the spy genre, what's a different era that you guys would want to do it in?
I like the 70s. I mean, I know it's like right next door, but just the hair and disco, I think all that stuff would be great.
I'm in.
The 70s
Right.
and the 80s, they're all coming back
Well,
right now.
let's just do Philip and Elizabeth in the 70s.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
Prequel.
With
Well-
Dax Shepard and Kristen Bell. Sold.
We're making this up as we go, and this sounds fantastic. Season 5's coming out in 2017. We're all on the edge of our seat. Congratulations on Season 4 and all the Emmy love that you guys are getting for that. Just an amazing show that everybody can't seem to get enough of. So thank you guys so much for being here today. Joe and Joel, the brains behind the operation, creators, showrunners, EPs, everything. Thank you guys for being part of our Facebook Live. Wave to everybody. Hello, 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 goodbye.
Or goodbye.
All of those things.